Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and I just thought I would jump on board with this because I've seen some other people make it, and I have to apologize if you hear any kids like screaming and shouting and doing stuff outside. There's quite a lot of children that live around here, and some of them are delinquent. What can you do about it? And I'm going to be looking down here because I've got some notes on a slideshow, but I'll probably go off script right at the end. So, Witchcraft Ins and Outs. I was inspired mainly by Star the Wild Witch and Good Wife at the Crone House. I will leave their links in the description. And also, I want to give a special mention to the Midwestern Witch. So, I was inspired to make this video by a few videos that I have watched over a month ago, actually, with some of them, and then more recently, our good wife uploaded a video of her own, and I was reminded, oh, I was going to do this video, so I want to do this video now. So I wasn't really tagged per se, but I wanted to jump on and do my own version of this. And if you would like to join in, consider this your tag. So direction is a huge thing that I'm focusing on right now, as well as reflection, which I have been doing quite deeply in this book of mine here, which I will not show you because it's super personal photographs from my past and everything like that. It's that kind of deep dive reflection. So getting clear on the direction. There's always children screaming around here. Getting clear on the direction I want my craft to go in is important. However, I need to understand that I am young. Even though my soul is extremely old, I always say I'm not just an old soul, I'm an ancient soul. I need to understand that this vessel and this brain, this mind, are only 28 years old. So it's okay to see the path straightening out just for it to take another spiral and another curve. It's all part of the learning process that every witch must go through, regardless of what stage they are in their life, whether they started a year ago or several decades ago. So we're talking kind of like this kind of thing, right? We're in the spiraling stage, and right at the end, we're seeing the path straighten out. However, each of these, this gap here, it may feel like it is this stage, but it's not. But we're continuing it in this. Or really, that's the ideal, isn't it? We spiral and spiral and spiral, and then we found a way out. But just as we get to here, we'll find another one of these, and that's perfectly normal. That's how we learn who we are as a spirit, and how our spirit teaches our mind and our consciousness and all of that who we are. So yeah, I put this on like a spare piece of paper, but I can just tuck this into my book. Okay, made versus bought. That's another topic I want to bring up here. I love to buy pretty things. I'm a huge sucker for buying stationery just to leave it in a pile of unused books, papers, stickers, all sorts of stuff like that. Sticky notes. I have too many pieces of colored card and paper due to this. I will probably show you in a video at some point on my channel. Depending on when you're watching this, it may be up or not. I'm not sure. And I also have many notebooks, several notebooks with nothing in it. Like you've got these two here on my desk. So Harry Potter and Mandalorian, Star Wars. So I've got these kinds of things, and also I've ended up with the Kuromai one. And there's more where that came from. There's one with like Disney princesses on it, but not like their faces, but the icons that are associated with them. There's one that's Wednesday Addams. I forgot. I just go, ooh, that looks nice. I can think of something to use that for, and then it just gets put in a box and not used. I don't tend to buy tools for my altar and stuff like that all too much because I try to stick to what I have, and I try to make stuff myself anyway. But moving forward, I want to lean more into that using what I already have mentality. That means not just using herbs I already own as substitutes for things that I've seen in a spell that I want to do, which is something I already do for the most part, but I want to use what's already in my house or what I could find in nature. A kitchen knife can have a lot of power, and when I was a teenager, my alchemy was a steak knife. There is no shame in that. But that being said, I do want to buy a nice alchemy for myself for specific purposes, for ritual, and as a ritual weapon. Ritual weapons are never used physically, for the most part. But I can talk about that at another time. And again, I apologize if you can hear the kids screaming. The kids. They're not my kids. There's quite a lot of people with kids around here, as I said. Or if one day I'm lucky enough, I can make one for myself after me, or commission one from someone I trust. Boundaries versus openness. I already have very clear set boundaries, and they will not be coming down. And as a content creator, though, I inevitably will get questions about things that I mention. Whilst I'm an open book, not every page is translated, and that's something I say quite a lot. So if I say something like, I work with a lot of spirits that are considered to be reapers or even demons, I am not required to expand on that. And no matter how many times somebody asks, although depending on what you've asked me, I may answer that. And if I say specific ancestral spirits and someone asks who, I do not need to disclose the identities of friends and family to you. Please never feel, though, that you can't ask me anything. I am comfortable with answering something if I can, and I'm more than happy to have questions. It's just I expect you to respect me if I say no to answering it, or just don't answer it. I'll always let you know politely if I can't or won't answer. No more comparing. That's a big thing I've seen a lot of people say as well. Altar setups, structures of beliefs and videos, even books. No more comparing my own path to anyone else's, whether they're younger or older than me, especially if they're older than me. My books especially count here, as in books of shadows, grimoires, diary type of stuff, because the fear of imperfection has stopped me from using the tome I made. Now, if you're not familiar with me, that's this book here. And I only recently got comfortable enough to start working in that book. If there's anything that you can take away from this video today, let it be this quote from a YouTuber called Skilltree. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be mine. That quote helped set me free from so many self-imposed limitations and ego. Now, ego doesn't mean pride. It can be part of it, but ego is just, I guess you could say, your consciousness getting in the way of yourself. It's a lot more complicated than that, but that's not the point of this video. Always a witch. Using my craft, no matter where I am and pretty much in every situation I am in, will help me regain a sense of structure and connection with my craft and path, which has started, the thread has started to fade. It started to break apart, and I need to make it stronger. Whether praying to a god or making a cup of coffee, there is witchcraft to be done. Self-love versus self-hate. Choosing to love myself even when I mess up, even when I forget to do something, and especially loving myself no matter how I look, is important. No more hating myself and being cruel to myself in my head. I must take care of myself on all levels of my being, and integrating self-care into my daily craft will help me a lot with this. Speaking up, no more being small. I grew up being small, silent, and submissive, and I no longer wish to be the way I was trained to be. I was physically forced into obeying. Let's put it that way. This matters in my craft as a witch because it's deeply tied to all areas of my life, and I should not be afraid of my own tongue. That does not mean I'll share everything, as I've already discussed, but if I have an opinion on something, then I should be free to share that without fear. And hiding who I am is insulting my blood and what it means to be a witch, in my opinion. My witchcraft focus. Now that I live in a place with a decent-sized kitchen, I can focus more on kitchen witchcraft, which is something I've always loved alongside green witchcraft. So when I first left my parents' home, the kitchen was pretty much just like a strip of cupboards inside like closed doors. It was terrible. It was not designed for somewhere you could cook. It was just to heat stuff up in the microwave in one of those apartments. Then when I moved from there, it was pretty much just cabinets, cooker, sink, that's it in the strip, no room to move. But this place has a perfectly sized kitchen we can move around. And I have a food processor blender combination and some new pots, and I am happy and really excited to start cooking more, experimenting with recipes I found online as well as I've made myself, and I will share that with you where I feel that it's relevant. So speaking of green witchcraft, I still prefer to use herbs and plants over crystals. even if one's like clear quartz can hold an almost indefinite amount of charge and energy, I prefer to use plants. I also want to focus more on traditions of my path rather than rebellion for the sake of it, I guess would be a way to say it. So I've never really been a delinquent or a walking middle finger, as I've noted here, but I want to go back to the roots and really firmly plant them like I tried to do when I was 16 years old. And that is not really something I feel comfortable talking about in detail due to what that means, but really just want to go back to that. Less fire magic. So I love fire magic and I've been using it for years and I do continue to use it. However, I want to start using other forms of magic, such as not magic, more frequently, because this apartment has sensitive alarms in almost every room. So you can imagine how that would work out. And it's for that same reason I haven't been burning incense, which is unfortunate because I love incense. Smells are a really important part of me. My sense of smell is really key to me. So, continuing to use tarot and oracle. I've been using tarot since I was about 13, 14 years old, and I will keep using it for the foreseeable future. I have no intention of giving it up, and I still work on my tarot channel, although it has been a couple of weeks since I last posted something, although I posted something the other day. But I don't feel the need to force myself to use that channel unless I want to. But for personal readings, definitely still want to use that. However, I will not be buying decks just because they're popular, and even if reviewing them would get me a lot of views on my channel, because my channel does count as part of my craft, because I was called upon to teach and share, and community can mean a lot of different things. And if I don't have a physical community, the internet community is also something important. Got to understand that the meaning of family and community can change over time. So the internet is still people. It's just that these people aren't physically in front of you. And it's important to understand not just that you are still talking to people, so watch your words, but that the internet is a community and community is important to me. So even though I would be getting views from people, put myself in front of more people, potentially finding more like-minded people by buying popular decks, same with subscription boxes and stuff, I don't feel the need to do that. Overly indulging in consumerism is just not good. I don't like that. I only buy what I want, and right now I have plenty to work with and no real interest in buying anything right now, although there is quite a long list of decks, oracles, and tarot that I want to look at, but I don't need them. I still also use other forms of divination, like runes, the elder and younger Thuthark runes, and I am interested in some various scrying systems and stuff like that that I may or may not get to at some point. And that's what I've got in my little presentation, and that's pretty much the overall gist of what is. So what is in is self-love and self-care, being open but not too open. Boundaries is so important, and kitchen witchcraft. What is out is, for the most part, fire magic because of the apartment I live in, and self-hate and doubt. And also what is out is, I guess you could say, it's not really a rebellion. That's not the word I'm looking for really, but it's the closest thing. So what's in is tradition. What's out is just rebellion. I don't know why that's the word that keeps going in my mind, even though it's not quite right. But yeah, I think that's the overall gist of things. And yeah, thank you to you for watching. If you're interested in doing your own version of this, feel free to do so. As I said in the beginning, if you're interested, this is your tag. So I'm Akladja, if you want to know how to pronounce my name. That is my witch name, my spiritual name. It means the queen sent by the cosmos. I was given it when I was 14 years old, but I can do it about me another time. But I know that this kind of video is probably going to bring more of an audience from outside of my channel, so I thought I'd just explain that a little bit. And yeah, if I feel the need to make any more of these types of videos, I will do so. But I just wanted to jump on a fun sounding hashtag because why not? But the best way to get to know me and my craft and how I evolve as a witch is really to just stick around with my channel. So if you are subscribed, just continue to stay. If you're not, feel free to subscribe and join my little community if you want to. No pressure. Take care, stay safe, and many blessings to you and yours.